Rick says, "What is going to be done about this offense with Justin Herbert and this offense, and then what can be done about Greg Roman and Justin Herbert?" And I think we might have some mixed feelings here, Victor. I'm a little more patient here because it's just funny to me that maybe 2 weeks ago, oh, Greg Roman, wow, they're running the football. J.K. Dobbins, comeback player of the year. This is exactly what Justin Herbert needs. He's doing less. Trying to keep him healthy, keeping his arm fresh. I love it. And then like they lose 2 games and they're like, what the hell? Greg Roman stinks, man. It's the same Greg Roman from the Baltimore days. His offense is outdated. And I'm like, it's just a 2 game losing streak in September. You have a new
Yeah.
coaching staff. You have a bunch of injuries. Can we be a little more patient? I know people have. I think I'm against the Chargers here, but I'm supporting Greg Roman right here. Obviously, if it goes on for the whole year, it could be a problem. But
Yeah.
a couple of things on the Greg Roman front. Obviously, there needs to be adjustments, and it's tough to ask your quarterback to throw a little more when you don't have Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt. You got to have
Yeah.
some kind of running game, but at the same time, you're facing two of the best defenses in the NFL, the Steelers and the Chiefs. It's a little hard to be committed to the running game, so it kind of goes back to the young skill players. You need to get open quickly. You need guys who could win their one-on-one matchups, and they weren't doing that. And it goes back to like, hey, this is what I've been saying all off season. It's gonna take time to get results. You have a very young skill player group, and when everything around is kind of falling apart with injuries, no tackles, no running game, an ankle injury to your quarterback, you need those young guys to step up. They haven't done it, so it's kind of a big ask to tell them to grow up in September here. Uh, but that's why I was a little concerned, but I'm still with the philosophy, Victor, of running the football a little more, helping out Justin Herbert. What the hell happened the last 4 years when he was dropping back 30 to 40 times? It got them nowhere, but they got to pick it up a little bit. I saw they're ranked last in the NFL on passing attempts per game. I think 23 passing attempts per game. You got to pick it up a notch a little bit, especially during injuries. You got to give these young guys maybe opportunities to make a play, throw it up there. Quentin Johnson, anybody. Maybe Lad McConkey gets more and flow of the offense. I get it when you're not balanced. It's a strong thing to ask, but I'm okay with this approach. And one more thing I'll say about it, but before you get your thoughts here, Victor, is like it's got to be some kind of meet in the middle because you did not pay Justin Herbert $55 million per year or $52.5 million per year. Did a little refresher earlier to just kind of sit back and throw 12. I know it'd be nice to do what Jared Goff did on Monday Night Football. We'll get to it where he got
Yeah.
18 of 18 perfect passing. That's a great stat line. 18 passes and you complete them all, and you get Dave Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs. Unfortunately, they don't have those weapons. That's what you strive for, right? Making life easier for Justin Herbert, and when you need to make a play, you do that. But it's just gonna take some time there. I feel like, and these guys got to grow up. And I know I lost my train of thought here. I was gonna say with Jared Goff here. Oh, the whole paying him. You got to eventually let him show off his skill set. I know he's not Jared Goff. He's supposed to be better than Jared Goff, but just kind of some balance. For like, okay, cool. Everything's kind of going to do the shitter right now. So let him earn his money. So this is where I want to see a little more. But again, you got to be smart about it, Victor.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I said I when I said why the I didn't see the Chargers making the playoffs, it wasn't because of Greg Roman or anybody else. I just thought you needed to be patient, especially with bringing in a new culture with Jim Harbaugh. You saw what Jesse Minter has meant to this defense. I mean,
Oh yeah.
without Jesse Minter, who knows where this team is at right now. But you have to be patient if you're a Chargers fan. This culture change is going to take a little bit of time, and I get it. Like Roman, I as I've talked to you guys about this, I was kind of surprised with the hiring, but this is what you have right now. You're gonna have to, run with what you have right now. They're trying to be a run first offense, and I get it. Like Justin Herbert hasn't been the same since he lost Steichen. Steichen, he had his best 2 seasons under Steichen, and you're seeing why a lot of quarterbacks who are under Steichen have their best seasons. And I think people want to see them open up the offense, and I think it will come with time. The other thing, as Fernando has he brought it up on Monday on Lunes Live, it's like it's hard to open up the offense when as you mentioned, you have two of your offensive linemen out. Your tight end position doesn't scare anybody, and then there's no separation from your wide receivers. Why are you going to put and then you have a Justin Herbert on one leg. Why are you going to put him in harm's way against two really good defenses? It just doesn't make sense. So I'm with you. You just have to be a little bit patient with what they're doing with the Chargers right now. And Athir, we'll get to your comments soon, but I just I understand the frustration. Look, everybody was happy about this team the first 2 weeks because they were 2-0. They blew out the Panthers, and everybody was happy about that, and they were talking crap to you about it. And then then you got hit with reality. And this is what happens in the NFL. It's a week to week, league, and that's just the way things are going to go. But I think, as you mentioned, you have to be patient going forward with the Chargers, and this, as Fernando also pointed out, Jim Harbaugh is super loyal. He's not going to get rid of Greg Roman. You probably won't see that change till after the off season. And you just got to live with this, and you got to trust. Everybody I talked to about the Chargers said, "Hey, we trust Harbaugh." You got to put the trust in Harbaugh, and then gotta see what the rest of the season. You get a bye week this week. You get to kind of heal some of those players, and then go from there.
Yeah, I just think it's just too soon to put Greg Roman on the hot seat. I think let's let the season play out a little more. Maybe focus on the positive and focus on Jesse Minter actually being the right coordinator right there. They're leading the league and points allowed. I think 12 points per game. That's pretty impressive. I know they're not playing the most explosive offenses. They did play the Chiefs, so I know no Rasheed Rice, but that's still something that you should hang your hat on. But Athir says. Victor Gilbert, I love Coach Harbaugh. I believe in him, but realistic the expectations this year was only to get to the playoffs and win one game. The roster not great. They don't have money. I think you're toning it down. I feel like you were saying
Yeah,
Super Bowl all the way, but
yeah.
playoff game and one win. Okay, that we're starting to get more into realistic land here. For me, I haven't really changed my stance on them not being a playoff team. They still feel like 7, 8, 9 wins here. I know Fernando has them at 10, which could still be a thing, but we are closer now. I think in the line of thinking where like they feel more like a fringe wildcard team
Yeah.
or a team that could be on the rise next year. Like I mentioned, I always thought it's going to be a 2-year project. And I think
Hmm.
right now Harbaugh and his crew are going through this whole like, okay, this is the NFL. It's been 9 years for me. This is what we got to do. We got to adjust here, and he's going to pick it up very quickly. I feel like, yeah, you've got a couple of breaks there when you face Bryce Young and the Panthers. You got Gardner Minshew at home. You face the Steelers on the road, a tough matchup, but they're not explosive offense there. And I think you should really feel proud about that Chiefs effort. Because
Hmm.
you got to get to that point where you're the Chiefs. Where the Chiefs, sometimes they're going to be having these terrible slow games, but they tend to win them, and that's where you want to strive to. So far for me, my mood hasn't changed, or my view, I guess, and we'll see. Maybe they'll prove me wrong when they come back from the bye week. Denver, Arizona. Like if you pick up the points there and you still have a dominant defense against two opponents you could win, I'll start definitely pumping them up a little bit. But regardless, if they get to this 8, 9 range and they show improvement, you should be happy there.